And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Angelwolf, and that's Mike Murburg over there.
Yeah.
Happy December 29th of 2021. This is the last Wednesday of the year, or Woden's Day, as they used to say back in the olden days. Welcome, everybody.
In the Wolden days.
The Wolden days. Very nice. Welcome, and thanks for tuning in. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. This is the imho.love show, in my humble opinion, .love. And the show's about humor and laughter and aha moments and CE5. CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It's also known as HICE, which is Human Initiated Contact Experiences, or Human Initiated Close Encounters. We've been doing this. We're going into our 5th year.
Yeah. Yeehaw.
I'm member number 3, and this is the grand poobah of all this over here.
Of the seminal formator.
The seminal formator. Wasn't that in Car Story?
I know.
Oh, that was in Cars, wasn't it? Oh, that's Tomater. Sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say, hello, America, and all the ships at sea. What a week, you know?
Yeah. What's that from?
Oh, that's Edward R. Murrow with, during the wartime. And, you know, ships are like part of America, too. The ship is under an American flag is a floating piece of America.
Yes, indeed it is.
So much for the law degree.
Well, we're under maritime law as well.
Interesting thing this week, I kind of synchronistically overran into on one of my YouTube feeds to a lecture on Carl Jung and his Red Book. Okay, and this gets into really heavy Jungian stuff. Okay, Red Book is like, you know, you get through the Red Book and you're truly a Jungian psychologist.
Okay.
So, but I learned that in his history, Carl Jung's mother was a clairvoyant.
Oh,
and she would like do seances and had seances, and she socialized with people that did that kind of stuff. And he continued that ilk until he was about 14, and then he got into, you know, a more structured university way of thinking. But eventually, he ends up coming back to it. So, which is the miracle of his life, I think. So it was.
Sure.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I listened to the lecture this morning. So it was like he got it, and he was a contactee as well, and a great artist too. So.
Absolutely. And you know, we say it on the show all the time. There are no coincidences. So there was, Carl Jung, probably the greatest psychiatrist, psychologist.
Yep.
Of this age.
He told Freud to shove it. I mean, how stony can you be to do that? Christ.
So I told Sigmund Freud to stick it up his ass.
Hey, Freud, go F yourself. Blame it on my mother.
Yeah. But, you know, Freud was, there was also pictures of Freud with the high-end bankers and the Nazi leaders.
Oh, God, yeah. And he played the other side of the table, too, with his cousin, with what's his name?
Oh, Bernays.
Bernays, yes.
That's his grandson, I think.
No, I don't know. It was like
nephew?
cousin, a second, maybe a cousin.
Nephew?
I think it was one degree removed, whatever it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, he carried it right into propaganda, man. He taught Goebbels everything he knew.
Talk about no coincidences.
And then came over to the United States with the rest of the CIA.
Those
SS Waffen Nazis who were forgotten about, giving newspapers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like, we got rid of the Nazis. No, we just brought them over here to work on our rockets.
Gave them new names. But you know, I had a Facebook warning today that I had posted like something that was I forget what it was against their community guidelines. Okay. All I posted was a sonographic diagram and depiction of what happens to sound at 342 megahertz, 440. And they say, sorry, this is against our community. Since when does like vibrational facilities against? Wow,
it's a gateway to escape.
Yeah, what a nerve I hit there.
Yeah, it could just be a bluff. or a shark bump.
There are no such things.
Well, you're right. You're right.
Synchronicities run both ways. You know.
But yeah, it's I don't. The information that's out there anymore. I mean, you really have to have extra time to scrutinize whether you're being lied to or whether you're being deceived or whether you heard this already before, kind of maybe. But anyway, folks, we're here every Wednesday night at 7:30. The show is brought to you by disabilityattorney.net. That's disabilityattorney.net. That's Mike Murburg's practice. He practices in Social Security disability and
railroad retirement disability, injured railroaders.
Railroad retirement, too. So if you got somebody that was out there splitting rails.
Well, just like my uncle. My uncle worked on a railroad. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All to live long day?
Western Pacific, 35 years. He retired at 65, and he lived to be 95 years old, so he was on the pension almost as long as he was with the railroad.
Yeah.
It's a good, thanks for getting your money back.
I have an ex-grandfather, I guess. When you divorce the woman, do you lose all her relatives? I don't know.
No, you just lose your money. You get to keep everything else.
Well, my ex-grandfather, I guess, or grandfather-in-law, listen to this guy's life. From 0 to 27, he was a farmer, and he bought the farm that he lived on with his crops at 27 years old. Mm-hmm. And then from 27 to 47, he worked at General Motors, and he literally put fenders on cars for 20-some years. Mm-hmm. And then he worked again until he was 67 at the post office. The guy had living on land that had been paid for since he was 27.
Wow.
His full retirement from General Motors. He was making more in his retirement fund than he made when he was actually working.
Yeah.
And then he had his post office pension, and he lived until he was 97.
Wow.
He was 30 years drawing all his pensions.
Wow.
So, I mean, but what a great guy. And just lived a wonderful, orderly life. He was a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, but those kind of things, they're gone anymore. My son's 22. He's at University of Central Florida. And they're telling him that he's probably going to have anywhere from 12 to 17 jobs in his life.
Yeah. Just 20 years ago, it was like 5 to 7 maybe.
Yeah.
Our lifetimes, it was 1 or 2, maybe 3. But if you broke the record, man, it's like they don't count comedians. It's like a special double asterisk category.
I'm the master subcontractor. Actually, no, but I mean, with straight jobs, though, I mean, I had 5 straight jobs by the time I was 17.
Yeah.
I've been in the workforce since I was 13.
Yeah.
And made it to 62 a couple months ago, and I'm taking anything they'll throw back at me.
Yeah.
It's my money anyway. Yeah. But anyway, folks,
what they are is they're betting against you.
Oh,
that you're not going to make it. The house is betting against you, so you basically got to know when you got to pull the plug.
Sure, exactly. And I'm going to spend a little more time anyway. So welcome to the show, folks. Like I said, sponsored by disabilityattorney.net. Tonight's theme of the show is sometimes you just can't go home. You just can't go home. And a lot of people experience that during the holidays if they've been away for many years or whatever, and then they come back. And a lot of times, more often than not, it's not a wonderful experience. And I think what it is like, I don't know if you've ever, I've done this a couple times, gone back to my old neighborhood that I grew up in. I grew up in upstate New York and Sayre, Pennsylvania, and Toms River, New Jersey, and Keansburg, New Jersey. I did go back and see where I was, and it didn't feel right. It was a really, really funny feeling.
Yeah, the world gets a lot smaller when you've seen all of it.
Yeah. Like Tom Waits says, I never saw the East Coast till I moved to the West. And but yeah, and that's what happens is you get this idealistic thing about what it was like. And believe me, you don't have to believe me. You can find out for yourself. But the memory is often better than the current reality. And I've also proven that with like trying to rekindle old relationships. You know, a lot of like, yeah, you had a sparky relationship with somebody and you try to get it all back together. But those times and those days are gone. Those energies aren't the same anymore. You don't feel the same way. You haven't had the life experience in between then and now. And you're trying to get that best part of the old thing to rekindle. And I haven't had any luck.
It's like relighting a wet cigarette.
Yeah, it's like that.
Doesn't work out
like
for
that.
you or the cigarette.
Yeah, I mean, love is love, and if you love somebody, you love them. But a lot of times you idealize what you think you can do. And Thomas Wolfe wrote a great book, You Can't Go Home Again. And that really is, I found it to be true. And you can't go home to a lot of things. Sometimes you can't go back to an old job because it just doesn't feel right once you're there again. And what that represents to me, Mike, is the constant flow, the constant movement, the constant circular motion of our universe. It's like you may have an offering of a memory from so many years ago, but now when it comes back around, yeah, you held the best part of that memory. You forgot about all the dirty dishes and the overflowing toilets, and you forgot about all the bad stuff that happened back then, all the friction, because I think we innately try to cherish better moments to make them easier to keep. You don't necessarily want to forget things or people, so you try to remember the best thing about them or the best time that you had. And sometimes there were people that left you with a very rough departure, or your life together was not fun. But generally, you're not looking to rebolt things back together with those people. They're long gone, and it's c'est la vie, baby.
Yeah, life goes on. It's the flow of the river.
The flow of the river. You never see the same river twice.
No. It's flowing through the river of timelessness, babe.
Yeah, man. So, hope everybody had a nice Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it is that you're into, or the winter solstice like we were talking about last week. It doesn't need a press agent. It just happens. And, I had a real good day today. I got to do a interview on Jim Brewer's podcast, Brutastic, I think it's called. Or it's on jimbrewer.com.
Jim Brewer.
That's JIMBREUER.
Yeah,
It's
a
like
comedian. He's a good guy.
fantastic guy. And brewer is just like someone who makes beer, except you substitute the W for a U.
Yeah,
So it's
and
brewer.
like today, you just substitute water for alcohol.
Huh?
Yeah, they call it beer.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, Old Milwaukee. You know what's amazing about Old Milwaukee? It was always scoffed upon. It was always $1.88 a six-pack.
Yeah.
It won more blind taste tests than any other beer.
Yeah.
$1.88 a six-pack beer, and it's winning over, all these imports and this and that and the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the best beer I ever had was a local brewery, Foxhead 400, and it was brewed in Hamilton, New Jersey, and it had the purest water.
Foxhead 400.
Yeah, I don't think you can find it anymore. They probably sold out to somebody, but they made the purest beer I've ever had.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It was something else.
Foxhead
It
400.
was kind of like one of those old Milwaukee, things. Foxhead 400 only sold to like A&P stores and stuff like that, So, but been a while since I've been up in New Jersey.
That little Foxhead. Who don't want a little Foxhead?
But yeah, it doesn't matter what people think about things. You got to know what things are, and you got to know the value of things.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Don't let somebody tell you what something's worth when you know whether it's worth more or less. It's just worth what it is to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, as we sit in a giant room of sentimentality.
I stopped collecting 20 years ago. So
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like this. I figured it out this morning. You spend the first 65 years, the first 60 of it, all right, you're accumulating.
Yes.
All right, especially up to 40 and 50, you're accumulating.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and then you get to be 60, 65. Instead of like looking up at the timesheet, you're looking down. It's like I got 20 years at best between now and the ultimate demise.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, if I'm lucky. Okay.
Yeah.
I spent 40 fucking years collecting shit. Now I got to get rid of it in half the time. Holy crap. You got to remember that. Don't collect so much stuff.
Yeah, well, that's why you need a third person non-attached on those cleaning days.
But when I was a kid, I watched that Spielberg story, Do you remember Amazing Stories? There were short stories. They're Spielberg. Well, one of those short stories, there's a couple of them. One of my favorite ones was the guy in the B-17 that gets shot up and he sketches himself to land correctly. There's amazing stuff. There's great stuff in that. But in the Amazing Story, there's one of these stories where this kid at a very young age encounters a leprechaun or an extraterrestrial or something. He looks like a leprechaunish kind of guy, right? And this special intelligence tells him, if you want a pan for gold, pan for gold. Don't let things stand in the way of you doing what you want.
Right.
So, and he does. He ends up panning for gold, and he, buys a couple of things when he's still a kid, and he keeps them in an old garage, an old barn, and he goes out panning for gold, and at the end of his life, he's out in the middle of the desert in Nevada, and he's like, oh shit, I made nothing in my life. I panned for gold all this time, and I got nothing. I always thought I'd hit the big one, And then he comes back home, and he goes, you've got to sell some things, to stay, just to pay his rent or whatever, So he goes to his friend and he goes, you think I can take these into Las Vegas and get any money for them? So one of the things he bought with his inheritance when he was a kid was like a 1910 Bugatti double 12 cylinder. He bought it as a lark, with everything he got out of an inheritance. And it was like, well, what do you think it's worth? It's just an old car. And it's like, oh, that's only worth like $4.5 million.
Right?
Sure. And all the rest of the things that he saved that were, sentimental to him,
right.
Just for that reason. And he's getting like these exorbitant prices. So at the end of the show, end of the movie, he's like, he's made tens and millions of dollars, which isn't much these days, but yeah, he's made all these millions of dollars. Yeah, and he's like at the end of his life, and he goes, "Wow, I got a chance to do what I wanted to do my entire life, but that didn't work out, but everything else paid off." So what the hell,
That's that beautiful dumb luck,
But yeah, but that's kind of the core of the collection things here. Just collect what there's an emotional attachment to.
Well, and it's funny, as a writer, if I ever need motivation or a plot twist, all I can do is start picking up stuff on shelves.
Yeah,
and it'll trigger a memory.
Yeah, we had like 3 different plot lines going this morning. What the hell was that?
Which one?
We had 3 plot lines going on at the same time. So
yeah, we did.
It'll come back.
It circles back around.
Yeah.
Whatever that lady says. But the it just left me. I had it right here. But when you have the cyclical thought, okay, and all those like the gold digger, the guy that was a prospector.
Yeah.
Did you see? You saw the Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Oh yeah, a couple of times. I'd watch that a third time.
Tom Waits.
Yeah. That was a great play.
No, when he plays the prospector, he's just fantastic.
Yeah, you think he was a prospector? It was like the lifetime part for him.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It's like Tom Waits playing Tom Waits.
His favorite character ever. Yeah, what a fantastic guy he is. And I got to tell you, I owe so much to Tom Waits. I actually almost met Tom Waits. I was too shy to actually meet him.
That's okay.
My old girlfriend used to be the secretary at his management company. And I was out walking the dogs. And she goes, like several blocks from the apartment to work. She goes, Waits is here. He's going to be here in like 10 minutes. And I went, wow. So I walked the dogs down there, and he pulls up in a '64 Cadillac convertible, all original, that minty light green with dark green leather. It was a beautiful original down car. The car was not all puffed out. It had faded paint, missing a fender skirt, and the car was beautiful. And he got out, and he was all cool and everything, just like Tom Waits would be. And he walks into the pit there and sits down for just a minute and sits on the edge and kind of like waves at me, I like wave back at him. And I wanted to say something to him because he's been such a hinge in my life. 1983, when I first listened to Nighthawks at the Diner, it totally changed my life and totally taught me how to turn a phrase, or it was turn a phrase 101 for me. And I didn't have the chutzpah to go over and introduce myself and be a dorky fan. And my girlfriend worked there, so I didn't want to create any friction. But when he went back to back with the attorney, he left, and I wrote him a note, and I put it under the windshield wiper of his Cadillac, and I wrote it to him. I went, "Dear Tom, you've made me dream of things I never would have, and you've made me contemplate things I never should have. And all the best, Lou Angelwolf."
Cool.
So I left it under his windshield wiper. That was as close as I got to Tom Waits. But I was in the same room with him.
Hey, well, you never know.
So, yeah.
Where is that letter today? In the Tom Waits archives?
Yeah, it's he uses it to check oil in the old caddy.
No, you'd be surprised at that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes. But anyway, folks, we're going into 2022 here at the end of the week. Like I was saying, I did the interview with Jim Brewer. It'll be on jimbrewer.com next Friday the 7th. Or Saturday the 7th. Whatever. It's Friday the 7th. On jimbrewer.com. It was a great interview. It was a really, really golden hour. Jim and I go way, way back, and we really got to tell some cool stories. And also this weekend, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, I'm playing in Wesley Chapel at the new Side Splitters in Wesley Chapel at the Grove Theater Complex. They've converted Theater Number 7 into a comedy viewing room, and I'm there with my old friend Happy Cole and headliner Steve Simone. I'm not familiar with Steve's work.
That's probably because he's Samoan.
No, he's not Samoan. Brother
long way away.
Brother can't help it if he's Samoan. So yeah, if you're out, I'm there Thursday night, tomorrow night, Friday night, and then Saturday we have the CE5 here, and I'm here. I'm not doing that. I don't even think they have a show that night. And then on the 2nd, the Sunday night, we have the same show. So anyway, all good stuff, and love doing stand-up. Love reminiscing. This time of year, I've been able to talk to some old friends and my comedy buddies, and I was just shining back with Tom Rhodes all the years that I was fortunate enough to do stand-up comedy and live this really incredibly eclectic lifestyle. It made the rest of my life
tolerable
because I got a lot of that wanderlust out, and we were like,
it's like Humphrey Bogart said, "Get your kicks while you're young, kid."
Yeah, true.
He's right.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking to Brewer about. I brought him on stage his first time back in 1989. And he was my opening act for several shows.
Yeah, you got to get that book going, man.
Well, I got it.
Got it moving.
I have all the topics.
Good.
And I can write a page about each incident.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
Yeah, chain yourself down. Do a page a day.
Yes, Mr. Congeniality is the working title.
That's the worst part about writing is you got to discipline yourself to write.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes the muse is there, sometimes it's not.
I hate to write, but I love to have written.
Yeah. You and Hemingway.
Yes.
So,
but actually, I do love writing. And when but it is getting in that zone. If your phone's not ringing and you don't have trauma and you don't have dogs barking and taxi cabs honking and all that stuff, you can actually, if you can get into a stream of consciousness, which I do publish sometimes on my Facebook page, and I'm also going to publish a book of my poetry. Sandal Bastriani is the name that I write spiritual and love-based things under. Sandal Bastriani. That's TSANDAHL. Sandal Bastriani. BOSTRIANNI.
Or as we say in Ebonics, T.
T. Yo, T.
T.
So, it's just time for me to collectively get this work together. Again, like you were saying, I did everything I wanted to do, but maybe I do have some gold.
Well, the thing is,
maybe I do have a Bugatti somewhere.
The thing is Hemingway used to say that you can't write about something you haven't lived or know about, so don't even try it. So write about what you know. I've learned that for a long, long time.
Yeah,
you know.
Always have jumper cables with you.
Right. You know something? And never mind. I ain't going there.
Okay.
Everybody should have their jumper cables. If you don't have jumper cables, then there's something wrong with you.
That's true. You should always have jumper cables. And unless your car is under warranty, you got to have AAA, man. I wrote an article about it years ago for mensrights.com. And
you lost the house, honey, but you kept the AAA gold card.
Oh, it's the platinum plan.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing's too good for you, babe. But
keep up the payments.
Yeah, exactly. But AAA is the best deal in the world. If you go to it's $129. You pay up front. Any tow, anything to show up anymore is $100, $125, $150. And also, not only does it get you a tow, it gets you a total of 3 tows, 100 miles and under, and another, and like a local tow.
Yeah.
And jump starts, car lock-ins, flat tire changing. Not to mention, if you're going on a trip, they'll map it out for you. They'll mark all the speed traps and do triptychs for you. They'll book hotels for you, whatever you want to do. But you can generally do better on your own. Here's a little traveler's tip. While you're out traveling, and you're and you want to stay somewhere overnight, don't book it too far in advance. What you do is, as you're approaching that town, like say it's 4 or 5 o'clock at night, and you got another day to travel, and you're going to stay somewhere, look it up on your phone, okay, and get your best rate, your online rate, and then call the front desk, and if they have a vacancy, they're going to sell you the room. And that way you get internet pricing without all the hassle and all the extra billing and all that other stuff that if you ever do have to cancel, it's always a pain in the ass getting that unwound. I probably have a half a dozen hotel securities out there that I never tracked down and got my money back or whatever.
Yeah.
But whatever, that's life.
Well, and, they never found the bodies under the bed either.
Yeah, it's true. You luck out sometimes. You luck out. So, Mike, we're looking at 2022. We're going into our 5th year of CE5. It's this. I really think when we're doing this show going into 2023, okay, we're gonna have a much different tone. I think this year it really is marked for a lot of change because there's some stuff going on. Well, we have midterm elections too across the country, so that's always an energy shift.
Yeah,
but there's just so much happening right now that you can't differentiate. You don't know what's good, what's bad. You don't know what's bullshit, what's true. I just saw a creeper went by. I guess they found Ghislaine Maxwell guilty on 5 of the 6 counts.
Oh, I didn't see that, but
yeah, it just came.
Yeah, well, good.
Yeah,
For starters.
Yeah, and they protect their own, those people.
Yeah.
So
I wonder which one they found her not guilty on.
Yeah, it's probably some crazy technicality or something.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, you're an attorney. You know that stuff.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Okay. It's great having an attorney. You have coffee with. Dude, what's this mean? Oh, you're in trouble, Lou.
You know what I want to know though is it's 2022.
Okay.
What's missing? 21. So whatever happened to 21? 21 was just a whipsaw year, man.
It really was a blink, wasn't it?
Holy cow!
Yeah.
What a miserable year too. You know.
Yeah, you had some personal struggles.
Yeah, so the world, for Christ's sakes. You know, we're still not out of this.
No, we're not out of it.
Excuse me, this lockdown.
And I think where we're at now is this is either going to turn into a giant shitstorm
Yeah.
that nobody's going to enjoy, or for the first time in history, or that we know of, the hero shows up early.
Yeah, well, E.T.'s coming, man. And I think the world's getting to know it. It's getting pretty obvious out there. And recently, NASA hired like 27 religion experts.
Theologians.
Well, Princeton Seminary. There's a lot of Princeton involved in this shit, you know? It's uncanny.
Yeah?
But, the Princeton Theological Seminary, the Pear Experiments, the SS Princeton, which is with the Nimitz. It's crazy stuff, though. It's an amazing synchronicity, to put it that way.
Well, you know, there's a channel on Samsung TV. If you have a Samsung TV and I guess your basic cable, it's a free TV that comes with your TV. There's a channel on there. It's 1430 on our area here in West Central Florida on Spectrum, and it's called Unidentified.
Yeah.
And it's exclusively all paranormal, UFO. It's all, alternative news. And
it's news about stuff you could be interested in.
yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, I always thought that was real.
Yeah.
And it is.
Really, there's that much evidence for Sasquatch, huh?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. You believe in Squatch?
I know in Squatch.
You know in Squatch.
Yeah.
Did you see Squatch?
No, but those whom I trust and I know have.
Yeah.
And I believe that their testimony is impeccable. So
Okay.
I believe in Sasquatch because others have seen them, and those people I know would not lie, and they have nothing in it. Although I am kind of amused by the guy from Twin Beavers or wherever that is in New York State, the guy who's got Sasquatch in his walk-in freezer.
Oh yeah, he cut its head off or something.
Oh yeah. He's out there.
It's an eclectic group.
It is an eclectic.
It's an eclectic group.
But you got to look at the proof for yourself. But what does it matter? The world is going to end in 6 months and 14 days. Don't look up. Did you see that yet?
No.
Oh, you got to. I just started watching it.
What's it about?
Oh, it's a Leonardo DiCaprio thing with the gal from Hunger Games, and Meryl Streep, and it's kind of like it is to end of time horror movies, what was that movie? Dewey.
Dewey Cox.
Yeah, it was. It's
Walk
like
Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
It's a spoofectomy, or it's just
a mockumentary.
Oh, it's worse. It's so subtle. It's pathetic.
Nice,
but nonetheless, it's it's interesting to watch, it's kind of like Repo Man, but without the drugs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So it's kind of like a spoof on end times.
Well, let's just say take that back. They do use a lot of Xanax in this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're lovely, the Xanax.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting movie. I don't know what it's going to teach us, but
Did you watch the whole thing?
No, but the premise is that what's the world going to do if it has 6 months and 14 days left before a 5-mile wide comet collides in the Pacific off of Chile and creates a tidal wave a mile high all over the world.
Yeah?
Yeah. So what are people going to do with that?
Raft sales will skyrocket.
But it's funny. There's how's the government work? Well, you sure it's not 100%? Well, it's 99.997% sure. And it's well, that's not 100. We'll go with 70. It's just, what a spoof.
Well, yes and no. Hey, one good solar flare and we're out of here.
Oh, yeah.
So, but folks, I think I was talking to Who was I talking to today? Oh, Tatya. And I said, I think what all of this learning, all these days, all these lessons, I think what comes down to that, or what that all comes down to, is eventually you learn to not fear death.
Yeah.
And
that's what the Tao is all about.
Once you don't fear death,
everything's possible.
Everything is possible, and you feel so much better about everything. You know, it's like, I think you should still be careful, and I'm not saying ride a wheelie on your Kawasaki down I-4, but don't be afraid to pass from this bag of meat that you're living in, because the spirit within it is, a million times more than the bag of meat itself.
Soul lives forever. So, and as much as we rejected, from religion that, you better behave or else your soul gets marked for hell, they just need to change it as your soul gets marked forever, and you got to work it out.
I don't think. Now, here's a question I have for you. Here's some real stoner talk. All right. You were a human spirit, okay, and you had a very rugged life. A lot of disharmony, a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of fear, a lot of vengeance, those kind of things.
Sounds like an Italian family. It does.
It's the Marinucci's over there.
So you're front of Italian.
So you're Italian. I said all that to say this. Do you think your spirit changes breed or changes, like if you were a human and you really had a banged up life, do you come back as a mule? Can you come back as a eagle?
Well, the Buddhists would say that, but I don't particularly believe that.
So once you made it to like this human gradient, you're just going to transfer within.
Well, I believe it on the other side is that we get born a certain way, and it's up to us to evolve and purify and refine. And that was the message from October 4th, 2015, from the craft, from the entity.
Yeah, tell people that don't know about that.
Well, in 2015, on October 4th, I was awakened by I need to go to the bathroom, but on my way to the kitchen, I saw an orb, a very large one, about 80 feet across. It was about 1.25 miles out over Robles Lake in Tampa. And it was about 6 o'clock in the morning. And I thought it was an aircraft at first. And then after I got my coffee going, I saw it was in the same place. And then I got a real good look at it, and I realized it was the same light pulse as a non-human entity was back on January 19th, 1979, the last time I had contact with it. And I had contact with it in 79 with about 50 other people, 60 cars on the highway. I believe it was Highway 7 going through Massachusetts and the Berkshires. And why I took that road, I have no idea. It was synchronistic. I used to use the thruway up New York State into Albany, but for some reason I was called
go that way.
That way.
There's no coincidences.
So, yeah, exactly. So, but going back to 2015, I recognized it. It recognized me. I'd been working on chapters of the Wahoo Ching for the last 2 or 3 nights. I'd been confined to my bed almost for a year, so I was writing. I stopped writing, and that's when this thing appeared. And the strange thing, I'll read it on our next show.
Okay. Great way to kick off the year.
Yeah, and it occurred to me today, or the other day when I read it to you, it was that we're doing exactly here what I was doing at the condominium in downtown when that thing appeared. We're spreading the word of the Tao, preaching the Tao.
Yes.
And that ET was all part of this. They're a lesser part of Tao, but they follow the great, they're the integral way themselves. So So doing this attracts them, and that's the basis of our protocol. It's a Tao-based protocol, and where we use our intelligence and our consciousness, and we project out into the subtle realm, which is a term that Lao Tzu used. So we project out there, and with our intelligence and with our hearts, and then we bring our hearts back in, and ET follows us, and then we're here. And that was the formula, and that's some of the stuff I've been writing about. And
beautiful.
Here we are.
That's the formula that works, because it's about as pure as a spirit motive as you can have. All we're looking to do is just, like Dennis Miller used to say, reach out and touch the Indians. We're just trying to commune with our extraterrestrial family, because we're terrestrials, okay? They're extraterrestrials. And chances are they are us from the past or the future or whatever, just another transgression of time. And we know this and we trust this, and we know that the spirit that lives within us was born somewhere, lives somewhere, goes somewhere, but we're just visiting this meat bag for a while.
Yeah, enters as a spark and then dissipates.
Yes, I love that spark.
Yeah.
That whole spark of life. It's so beautiful.
And real.
And then at the end, when you're done with this meat bag, however you leave it, I hope it's peacefully and laughing. But however it is, and see, that's what's been laid on us a few weeks ago. I more and more believe in reincarnation, of course.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
It's a fact.
Yeah, it is a fact.
It is a fact. If you don't accept reincarnation as a fact, you're just stupid. The science is out there. It really is. The science and the anecdotals and the life stories and all that stuff, even down to Anne Frank. Anne Frank's another one of the University of Virginia medical school case studies. Anne Frank came back. Anne Frank.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow.
Not to mention, Little Boy and the Airman Downing and the boys from the western coast of Scotland.
Yeah, it's I'm 100%. I'm in.
Yeah.
But and the reason I commented on that was conventional Western Christianity kind of scoffed
it. They made it a mortal sin for you to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, the Council of Nicaea, and I think it was 531 or something.
325.
325. But the second one, the second one, the first one, 325, Nicaea took most of the references out, but they left in Lazarus because they couldn't figure out a way to axe it and screw the whole without screwing the whole thing up. So they left Lazarus in there. Okay, and they left Jesus in there too. But the rest of the Gnostics, or even the sub-Gnostics, were taken out, and then the Justinian, the Second Council of Justinian, I think it was, in 531 or something. Justinian basically said, look, it's heresy, and you'll get burned at the stake if you mentioned it. So
Reincarnation.
It went from we're not going to talk about it, to you talk about it, we're going to burn you at the stake.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a deterrent.
Welcome to the new Christianity.
There's room for everybody.
It only gets worse.
Yeah. Well, and of course, what that was for was to limit people's thought and expansion about their spirit and their spirit life.
Right.
And so, but what it also did is it prompted you to buy that package that they were selling you every Sunday.
Yeah, and you can always blame the devil. Why did you do it? Well, I certainly don't want to take responsibility for this myself, because I have a soul and I'm an individual and I can make my way with God. So the devil made me do it.
Okay, Flip Wilson.
Okay, so the devil made you do it. Say 5 Hail Marys and 2 Our Fathers, and then give me some money and you're out of here. Okay. Go off and sin.
It's a hell of a deal.
It's a Catholic church. That's what it was.
That's Tony Soprano. Yeah, tipping the till.
Yeah, I think Soprano was an Orsini.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
That's heavy. Well, so folks, we're just trying to find our way home like everybody else. Mike and I have some pretty spirited conversations throughout the week, and we hope to recreate some of those for you here on Wednesday nights at 7:30. we've had another great year of imho.love. We're finally up in the studio. We finally got a decent internet connection. Still shooting off my phone though.
Got to get a TV.
And we're gonna get it. We're gonna get a TV.
Between now and the first, got to get a TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
all right. We'll do it tomorrow.
Just one more thing.
Are you working tomorrow?
Not really, sort of, maybe.
Okay.
Whatever I need to do.
All right. I'm at Side Splitters at night, but my day's pretty open.
Okay, all right. I'll discuss it. We'll take a look.
Okay.
Figure it out tomorrow, and then maybe pick it up the next day.
Okay. And I know I'm going to forget a bunch of people here, but I do want to say thank you to Kat Carroll. Kat, you are fabulous for documenting stuff for us and sharing points of interest and letting us know what's good to promote and what's we really appreciate you. Thank you so much, and of course Mark Cottingham, who is our regular. I mean, if I post something, he likes it, and that just makes me feel so good. And I said, well, at least Mike knows. Mark knows. And Nanette and Sue and Debbie and Tasha, and there's just and then there's the guys, Daniel and Jefferson, and it's all this energy.
And Cubby and Annette.
What was that?
And Cubby and Annette.
Come on.
All the
we have a
Mouseketeers.
Nanette, yeah.
We got all the Mouseketeers.
Magic Mirror, tell me today. And I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch of people. I did want to write it down, but I didn't. So I'm just doing it from memory, and I can't see if you're on or scrolling. So, but thank you. And Marie, you all are just, I appreciate everything that you do to encourage us to continue this.
We can begin the E.T. Skateers Club.
The E.T. Skateers. Well,
what more friendly group can you find?
So, yeah, I mean, you all are just so wonderful, and we thank you so much. And I know I forgot a whole bunch of people, but just know if you're out there and you're tuning in regularly, like, share, subscribe. Wordy McWriter, I know you're out there too. Karen, you guys, you're why we do this. You know, this really is. It's in today's modern and busy world. This really just is. You know, you're having coffee with a couple old, husky hippies. And we're just trying to share the good things in our heart. And if there's something to caution you about, that generally comes up. We don't try to dwell in too much negativity because there's 100 shows that do that. You want to get caught up on your negativity, watch a half hour of Max Egan. You'll walk out into traffic. But anyway, but I love him though, and he's well studied. So he really is he is the bright side of the dark side.
Yeah, is he like... I don't know who he is. Is he like Max Headroom?
Kinda. It's Max Eigen. It's
Eigen, okay.
I-G-A-N. Tremendously well-studied guy, but a real dark character. And of course, Corbett Report and Jordan Peterson. All these wonderful guideposts. And I tell you, Jim Brewer. That guy is really promoting the correct attitude for this new year. He's happy, he's forgiven, he's carefree, he's wide awake, and he's applying reason to all these things that are going on around us. And consequently, everybody ain't doing that.
You know, what it reminds me of is the fable about the king's new clothes.
Yes,
you know, how long did the kid have to scream that the king has no clothes on, or else the kid with the finger in the dike, I mean, that's the thing that holds back water.
Yeah, that.
It's like, and he's telling everybody, hey, I think there's a leak in the dike. Never mind. No, I think there's a leak in the dike. No, what do you know? You're just a kid. There's, and you just keep on getting put off and telling people that, watch out. There's shit to look out after,
Yeah.
And then all they do is they just don't look up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, true.
See the movie. I think it was a good one. so far. Yeah, it's shitty. I'll let you know next week.
Yeah, Don't Look Up. Let's watch. Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Oh well, let's watch it after this.
Yeah.
I'm all cranked up.
Okay, cool.
Well, folks, like I said, I'm playing at Side Splitters Wesley Chapel Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. I'm on Jim Brewer's podcast January 7th. So catch that if you can. It was a good one. A little history between Jim and I. A little story. A 31-year-old story was unearthed. And Happy New Year, everybody. Merry Christmas, whatever it is that you enjoy celebrating. But for the most part, celebrate your life. Celebrate all this wonderful cellular connection that you have with everything. You know, I say it all the time. All this wonderful bag of mud that we live in, and all the, you know about neutrinos, Mike? You know about neutrinos?
Yeah. There's a joke about a neutrino.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know it?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's like bartender says, "We don't serve neutrinos in this bar."
Yeah.
Okay. A neutrino walks into a bar.
I thought the punchline was, "I'm just passing through."
No, they're faster than light, so
Yeah.
so they go back.
Very nice, and they are the finest point of energy that they do pass through your body all day long.
Yeah.
They're just that fine, and so to me, what that denotes is a weight consciousness of consciousness.
Yeah.
So if you could measure the weight or the volume or area of a neutrino, okay, passing through, that would be the weight or the value of consciousness itself, wouldn't it?
Could be a weight. What is consciousness, though? Nobody knows.
Well, ask any neutrino, you think you know.
That's right. Once you capture one, they're a little tricky. But you got waves going through you all the time as well, but people don't realize that.
Yeah.
You know, so you got neutrinos, so if you got mass going through you, you got energy going through you got electromagnetic, gravitic fields going through you. But nobody, capisces that as they walk through your everyday life. But what we do here at CE5, we capiche that, and then we gravitate it and we ground it and we share it with each other and create our own little gravitron, you know.
Yeah.
And then we focus the ball light and send it on up. But yeah, so
our
we're
own
going to be
gravitron.
We're going to be. Hey, we're up to the limit, and we've got almost 490 people in the group so far. So we may hit 500 by our 5th anniversary.
Wow. So we got 35 coming?
Cool. Yeah, 35, 36.
Yeah, and that's January 1st. We are really kicking off.
Booked. Yeah, you can't come. We're done.
We're full.
We're done too. But,
yeah, there was a new lady that wanted to get on because Donnie Chamberlain can't make it.
Okay, yeah.
So,
I let her in. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, very good.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, got it.
I couldn't remember her name. Burnett, something like that. Can't remember. Anyway, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This is the last show of 2021 for the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. The show is sponsored by disabilityattorney.net. That's disabilityattorney.net. It's for all your Social Security, disability, and railroad injury cases. So it's the United States specialist right here, this guy. So have a great week. If you can make it out to the comedy show, go do it. If you're down in the Sarasota area, Al Romas is playing at McCurdy's Comedy Theater. I went to their holiday party last night down in Sarasota.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful rendezvous of weirdos down there. I love all my comedy buddies down there.
Comics is generally a pretty fun group of guys to hang out with.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the reasons I embrace this is I read it in a haphazard article that in ancient England, the kings would spare the jesters till the very last day. When the kingdom was crumbling and all was lost, the last guy to go was the jester because he kept the king cheered up.
Right.
So, you know, being indoctrinated under the jester clause.
It's like the apothecary's gone. It's you next, Jester.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you all have been absolutely delicious. If I forgot your name, doing my little shout out, I apologize. I probably shouldn't even do shout outs because I can't remember everybody. Or I should write them all down, and then it'll be like Romper Room.
I think we can use ET Skateers and they'll be fine.
All the ET Skateers.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Right. I come up with them.
I got a million of them.
Hey, the Muse talks, you got it right.
There you go. Oh, hi, everybody. Hi, Marie. And I left my glasses back here. Darn it. Randy. Hey, Randy.
So
all right, y'all. Thanks a lot. Where am I out of time?
I think you're pretty close.
Yeah, I think so too. Good night. Love you. Happy New Year. Ciao. Oh, that's Rebecca.